Poor kid blows bubbles for autistic girl. You won't believe what her millionaire dad did next. In a small town, where sunsets melted into fiery reds and oranges, a boy named Trevor stood alone in the park. He was blowing bubbles in the chilly air, each one shimmering like a tiny rainbow. They danced and floated against the backdrop of the setting sun, carefree. But these weren't just any bubbles, they were bubbles of hope for a girl named Lily, who watched quietly from her seat on a swing, lost in her world. Lily had autism, and her laughter was rare, like finding gold in a haystack. Trevor had never met her before that day, but he felt pulled towards her. His heart raced with excitement, like a roller coaster ready to drop. Every pop of the bubbles seemed to echo in the crisp afternoon, drawing the attention of other kids. They watched with wide eyes. Some giggled, while others found it strange. This mix of innocent wonder and oddity captured the essence of that moment, creating a magnetic pull that kept everyone's focus on the fragile bubbles and the silent girl who smiled shyly. But there was something else in the air that day. An unsettling tension knotted in Trevor's stomach when he noticed a car parked nearby, a sleek, black sedan that radiated luxury with its shiny surface. The kind of car you only see in movies, the kind that screamed wealth and privilege. He could almost hear whispers among the onlookers, exchanging glances at the girl and the car, a mix of curiosity and judgment that sparked intrigue and concern. Who else was watching this heartwarming scene unravel? Who truly cared about the bubble blower and the quiet girl? You could be famous, you know, one boy half joked, nudging Trevor, yet there was a truth to it that made Trevor's pulse quicken. Fame, like bubbles, was fleeting but intoxicating. But what if this was different? What if that car belonged to someone important? What would happen next? Hey, before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube unsubscribed them without warning. Take a quick second to check the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I'd hate for you to miss any of the exclusive content coming soon. And while you're there, smash that like button, it really helps me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's connect. The tension hung thick in the air. Trevor saw a figure stepping out of the car. A tall man in a crisp suit with sunglasses that hid his eyes. He had an aura of authority, like a storm ready to unleash chaos. The whispers grew louder as he walked towards them. Every step felt like thunder, and Trevor's heart pounded in sync like drumbeats. Lily's eyes widened as she caught sight of the man approaching them, her smile fading. The closer he got, the more uneasy Trevor felt. What did he want? Was he here for Lily? Was he taking her away? Would he ruin the perfect moment they had just created with bubbles and laughter? Trevor stood frozen, his bubbles forgotten, the echo of their pops now a distant memory as the world around him faded to a hush. What could this man possibly want? Did he know something Trevor didn't? And more importantly, what would happen when he reached them? The answer to that question hung in the air like a heavy mist, waiting to be unveiled. The tall man stopped just a few feet from Trevor and Lily. The crowd around them instinctively held its breath, eyes darting between the stranger and the unlikely duo. Trevor's heart raced even faster. There was something dangerous lurking beneath the polished surface of the man's demeanor. Lily, he spoke, his voice deep and smooth like polished stone. Trevor's stomach twisted at the sound. Come here, sweet girl. Trevor instinctively took a step forward, ready to protect her. She doesn't want to go with you, he blurted out, a surge of anger flooding his veins. Who was this guy to demand anything from her? The man's lips curled into a slight smirk, but his eyes remained cold, shielded behind those dark sunglasses. I'm not here to take her anywhere. I just need to talk to her. He glanced at Trevor, assessing him like a puzzle piece that didn't quite fit. And I can do this without you. The other kids whispered amongst themselves, their expressions ranging from confusion to concern. Trevor could feel their curiosity and fear spiraling together, like a cyclone about to unleash chaos. What did this man want? Deep down, he wanted to trust Lily's instincts. She had been so peaceful, so happy just moments ago. Lily, her fingers tightening around the chains of the swing, looked frightened. Trevor turned to her, searching for clues on her face. There it was, a flicker of recognition. She backed away slightly in her seat. It was small but significant, a signal to Trevor that she, too, sensed danger. "Lily, it's okay," Trevor said gently, his voice shaky but encouraging. "You're safe here." The man's expression darkened briefly before he polished his look and continued, "I'm aware that you've been having fun blowing bubbles. I admire that. It's a nice thing for a kid to do." His tone suggested he hadn't been admiring it at all. "But Lily can't stay here forever." Trevor felt a chill run down his spine. What did that mean? The words hung in the air like a bad omen. Just then, a familiar voice sliced through the growing tension. "What is going on here?" It was Mr. Thompson, the park's security officer, lumbering toward them, his brow furrowed in concern. Trevor felt relief wash over him, but also dread. The last thing they needed was added attention. "Just a friendly chat," the man replied too smoothly, while Trevor could see Mr. Thompson's stance stiffening, sensing the underlying threat. The other park-goers, sensing something was off, began to inch closer, their collective murmur making the tension palpable. "Friendly, huh?" Mr. Thompson shot a questioning glance at Trevor, silently asking for confirmation. Trevor nodded, but his heart raced as he shot a look back at Lily. Suddenly, the man removed his sunglasses, and Trevor wished he hadn't. His eyes were unsettling, penetrating and full of something dark. "She needs to come home with me, now." Trevor's blood ran cold. This wasn't just about bubbles anymore. "I want to let you take her," Trevor shouted, his body instinctively shifting to shield Lily. The crowd drew in a collective breath, the suspense hanging thick. With a quick motion, the man reached into his suit pocket, and Trevor's imagination spiraled. Was he pulling out a weapon? Or maybe something worse? The air crackled with tension, and the moment felt like it had stretched into eternity. "Trevor." Lily's voice broke through, trembling but firm. Just let him talk." Those words landed like a punch in the gut. Whose side was she on? Before they could process the sudden shift, the man spoke, a grin dancing on his lips. "Now, let us see if we can make a deal." What deal could he possibly be offering? And at what cost? Deep down, Trevor knew the stakes had just risen dramatically. Here they were, at a turning point that could change everything. What would it take to protect Lily? And what dark intentions lay behind that man's charming smile? As the crowd buzzed with uncertainty, Trevor felt the weight of the world press down on him. Whatever happened next would define their fate, and time was running out. Trevor's heart thundered in his chest as the man leaned closer, his intent gaze locked on Lily. "There is something she has that belongs to me," he said, each word dripped in menace. The air felt thick, pressing against Trevor like an invisible weight. Lily's face paled, her eyes flickering from Trevor to the man. "What do you mean?" she whispered, her voice barely carrying above the murmurs of the crowd. Trevor could see fear and confusion dancing behind her bright blue eyes, and it shattered him. He had to protect her, whatever it took. The man's smirk widened, revealing a flash of white teeth that felt more threatening than reassuring. "I'm sure you've heard of my work, Lily," he said, tilting his head. "You're someone special, destined for great things. You just don't know it yet." What was he talking about? Trevor felt a knot twist tightly in his stomach. "Leave her alone," he shouted, stepping forward once more, but Mr. Thompson's heavy hand landed on his shoulder, pulling him back. "Let's just calm down," Mr. Thompson urged, though his eyes flitted nervously between the two of them. "How about we all take a step back? There's no need for threats." The man raised a hand, dismissing Mr. Thompson as if he were an annoying fly. "I'm not here to fight. All I want is to speak privately with her." He leaned closer to Lily, lowering his voice. Your father wouldn't want you to miss this opportunity. Trevor's heart plummeted again. Her father? What do you have to do with him? He was desperate to keep Lily safe, and this was spiraling into chaos. The tall man straightened, a calculated glimmer in his eyes. Someone who truly understands her needs to be there for her. It's about time she embraced her future. I can help her in ways you can't. He approached slowly, and Trevor felt every instinct scream for him to act. Please, don't. Trevor yelled, his hands balled into fists, shaking with adrenaline. The crowd fell silent, mesmerized by the unfolding drama. Lily's eyes were wide, and Trevor recognized that flicker of doubt creeping in. Was she genuinely curious about what this man had to say? Would she betray the bond they built? Trevor, maybe we should listen, Lily murmured, her voice barely a whisper, but it pierced through Trevor's defenses. He seems to know a lot about me. Maybe no. Trevor felt the panic rise in his throat. You don't know him. He was no longer just defending himself, he was fighting for Lily's freedom, for her right to innocence. The man watched their exchange, a calculating glint surfacing in his eyes. Maybe you're right, he said, feigning consideration. But what if I told you your father is very invested in what happens to you? Stop. Trevor shouted again, feeling dread wash over him like ice water. My dad wouldn't isn't he the one who can't handle the truth? The tall man interrupted, his voice dropping dangerously low. Trevor caught a glimpse of something dark and sinister lurking behind the guy's facade. Wouldn't he prefer it if she became something more? The implication crept in as thick as fog, swallowing Trevor's thoughts. What did this man know about Lily's father? And more importantly, what kind of twisted game was he playing? Trevor, I don't think my dad is like that, Lily said, uncertainty lacing her tone. A wave of nausea crashed over him. Lily, you have to trust me. We can't let him pull any strings. The tall man's eyes danced with amusement, as if he enjoyed the turmoil between them. Then I suppose it's time to make a choice. You can either let me help her, or keep her in the dark. Trevor's mind raced, every second stretching like an eternity, the whispers of the crowd blurring into a distant hum. Think carefully, Trevor. Time is not on our side. As the man stepped back, a hand still resting casually in his pocket, the tension surged again. What choice did he have left? Would he dare to push against a man who held so many secrets, knowing he could lose everything? With a heartbeat drowning out the voices around him, Trevor realized this was just the beginning. The stakes were far higher than he ever imagined. What would happen if he couldn't protect Lily from this shadowy figure? And why did the man look so sure of himself? Let us see how far you're willing to go to keep her safe. The threat lingered in the air, wrapping around Trevor and squeezing tighter until he felt it choke him. Whatever lay ahead, one thing was certain, the real game had only just begun. What price would he pay to protect her? And who else would be pulled into this darkening spiral? Trevor's thoughts raced. Outside the tension enveloping him, the world continued to spin, laughter and music spilling from the party like an unwelcome reminder of normalcy. But inside, everything felt all wrong. Lily, don't listen to him. Trevor implored, feeling the heat of desperation burning his cheeks. The man's presence loomed large, a foreboding shadow against the colorful backdrop of the evening. Trevor, I just want to understand. Lily's voice trembled, casting doubt for Trevor, like a stone dropped into a calm pond. The ripples of her uncertainty spread through him, casting shadows of fear over what he thought he knew about her. Understand what? A stranger's vague promises and mysterious ties. This isn't a move in a game, this is your life. He stepped forward, closing the space between them as the crowd watched, breaths held in anticipation. Someone who truly understands you, huh? Trevor spat, sarcasm peppering his words. That's quite the pitch. What if he's just a con artist looking to make a quick score? Has it crossed your mind? Enough. The man snapped, his calm facade cracking, revealing just a glint of rage beneath. You don't know what you're meddling with, kid. Trevor felt the chill in his bones. The warning hung in the air, heavy and suffocating. The crowd drew closer, intent on the spectacle. Murmurs erupted as tensions escalated. What is going on? Someone whispered, but Trevor couldn't take his eyes off Lily. Trevor, please. Lily's voice softened, the pleading nature of it combined with her wide eyes cut through him like a blade. He fought against the swell of hopelessness creeping in. You're not seeing it clearly. Trevor exclaimed, heart thumping painfully against his ribs. This isn't just about you, it's about us. What if he's lying? What if he wants to take you away from me or worse? Conflicted, Lily glanced at the man, who stood silently, an enigmatic smile plastered on his face. Lily, he knows your strengths. Think about it. What if your path is greater than anything you've ever imagined? Bile surged in Trevor's throat as he faced the dark possibility. He's trying to manipulate you, Lily. Whatever he's offering, it's a trap. He sensed the crowd shift, their eyes flicking between him and the stranger, sensing the inner turmoil pushing against their resolve. As Lily searched Trevor's face, the man leaned in closer, brushing against her shoulder almost imperceptibly. You can't put your dreams on hold because of some misguided boy. It's time to step into the light. No. Trevor shouted, fear curling in on itself like a snake ready to strike. This isn't about dreams, this is about reality. What has this man done to earn your trust? Nothing but filling your mind with pretty words. What do you know about her life? The man's voice was smooth yet threatening, a predator prowling for weakness. In time, she might see beyond this facade. Sometimes the truth hurts, but it can also set you free. Trevor felt the weight of those words settle like lead in his stomach. What do you mean? What truth? All eyes shifted back to the man, tension thick like molasses. I know her potential, Trevor. But do you? The slight emphasis on her name sent a chill down Trevor's spine. Your loyalty is noble, but don't let it cloud your judgment. Trevor's breaths quickened. What do you mean by that? Just say it. The man stepped back, allowing a quiet snack of silence to drift through the crowd, tension breaching a precipice. I can give her the answers she seeks about her father, about who he really is. Every part of Trevor screamed to take a step forward, to confront the man whose words sliced through him like glass. But a weight anchored his feet, uncertainty replacing the anger that had burned fiercely just moments before. Lily, please. His voice cracked, desperation creeping in. You know me. You know my heart. As the words fell into the thick silence, he saw a flicker of realization wash over Lily's face. My father? Her question hit Trevor like a punch to the gut. What did that man know? Lily, don't think for a second. Do you really think I'll walk away? Lily interjected, her voice sharp. But I might need to know the truth. The ground beneath Trevor felt unsteady, the chill of dread creeping up his spine. But at what cost? With the man's sly smile growing, Trevor felt dizzy. Would the truth even be worth it? The crowd buzzed with anticipation, perpetuating the charged air, leaving Trevor alone once more with the force of his thoughts. In that moment, he realized, the choice wasn't only about Lily. It was about him too. The game had turned and now every move mattered. Lily's future hung in the balance, a delicate thread waiting to snap. What hidden truths would emerge? And would Trevor risk it all to uncover them? Would he push against this storm just to keep her safe, or would the revelations swallow them whole? Lily, you can't be serious, Trevor gasped, the words clawing from his throat like a wounded animal desperate for air. The room spun around him, laughter and music fading into a haunting melody as he tried to understand her intent. Her eyes, usually so bright and reliable, now shimmered with something he didn't recognize, fascination or fear. Maybe both. The weight of the man's presence enveloped her, drawing her in with magnetic allure. What could he possibly offer that I haven't already done? Trevor's voice was sharp, slicing through the tension. Desperation clawed at his insides, pushing him forward, as if he could somehow physically pull her back. You know me. This isn't just some careless decision. You're chasing shadows. She hesitated, her gaze wavering between Trevor and the stranger, like she was on the verge of choosing her path. But what if there's more out there, Trevor? What if I need to know who he is, what he is hiding? The man's smile twisted slightly at her words, a predator watching its prey. Sometimes knowing isn't about wanting, dear Lily. It's about understanding your true essence. Trevor clenched his fists, feeling the tension radiate off him. He stepped closer, pinning the man with an intense glare. What do you know about her that she doesn't already? Trevor's voice was low, filled with a threat he hoped the man would understand. You think you can just come here and offer her things you can't deliver? This isn't a game. The stranger tilted his head, his smile deepening. Oh, Trevor. This is the game. You've already lost, you just don't know it yet. A chorus of whispers broke out among the onlookers, curiosity sparking as the air thickened with suspense. As Trevor fought to maintain his composure, his heart pounded like a war drum. He glanced at Lily, whose expression was still torn. What do you think he'll tell you? You don't even know him. Her eyes glimmered with doubt, but there was an ember of determination flickering there too. If he is telling the truth, Trevor, I have to know. I can't just walk away. That's exactly what he is counting on. He countered, voice rising, desperation spilling into his words. Don't let him play you. You're so much more than what he is pretending to offer. Is that a threat? The man asked, his tone mockingly amused, as if Trevor's distress was a source of entertainment. Stay out of this. Trevor snapped, but the stranger only leaned in closer to Lily, whispering something Trevor couldn't hear. The intimacy of his words made Trevor's skin crawl, knowing that whatever the man was saying was meant to ensnare her. At that moment, the doors to the party burst open, a gust of wind sweeping through the room. A stranger entered, their face obscured by shadows, and for a second, Trevor's breath hitched. Could this be the twist he didn't see coming? Lily. The figure called out, and the sound made Trevor's insides twist. Possibilities crashed down around him, his heart racing with anxiety. But the man before them only raised an eyebrow, intrigued. Interesting timing, he murmured, allowing the tension to worm its way deeper into Trevor's gut. Something is wrong, the newcomer stated, eyes fixing on Lily, concern radiating off them. You need to leave. What? Trevor stammered, the blood draining from his face. What did that stranger know? The leader of the group fixed the stranger with a glare. You have no idea what you're involving her in. Confusion surged through Trevor, but his fight was in vain as he watched the other man's interest visibly shift. I think the truth is finally showing itself. Don't listen to him. Trevor shouted, panic surging through him. Lily's expression turned from uncertainty to fear. What do you mean? Suddenly, the party's music cut off sharply, plunging the room into a disquieting silence. Someone is about to reveal everything, the newcomer warned, eyes locking onto the man's, tension thick like a heavy storm cloud. What do you know? Trevor demanded, stepping forward, ready to shield Lily from whatever darkness lurked in the air. And in that moment, as the crowd held its breath, they all waited for an answer that could change everything. What truths would surface from the shadows? And would Trevor be able to protect Lily from the choices that lay ahead? The silence hung in the air, heavy and suffocating. Trevor's heart raced as the crowd leaned in, anticipation buzzing like electricity. He felt Lily tense beside him, her pulse quickening in response to the unspoken tension. The newcomer, a silhouette against the bright lights of the party, was clearly more than just a fleeting figure, he was a harbinger of something darker. What do you know? Trevor urged again, desperation clawing at his voice. The newcomer took a step closer, his features coming into sharper focus. Trevor could see the fear etched in his eyes, a reflection of his own swirling dread. "I know the truth about him," the stranger replied, voice steady yet urgent. "And I know the consequences if she stays." Lily looked between the two men, her confusion deepening. "Consequences? What are you talking about?" "Just a little more time, dear Lily," the man interjected, waving his hand dismissively. "Everything you seek is within reach." His tone was smooth, seductive, like honey laced with poison. Trevor clenched his jaw, pushing past the rising tide of panic. "This is nonsense. You don't even know her. You have no right to silence." The stranger barked, his eyes burning into Trevor's. "You think you can protect her? You can't even protect yourself." The crowd gasped collectively as Trevor stepped back, incredulous. Their murmurs echoed in the spacious hall, a cacophony of uncertainty and awe. He felt exposed, every cell in his body screaming to shield Lily from the dark truths that danced at the edges like shadows waiting to pounce. "Trevor, it's okay," Lily whispered, her voice trembling. But it didn't feel okay, it felt like standing on the edge of a cliff, ready to fall into the abyss. "What's about to be revealed," the newcomer continued, reclaiming the moment, "is bigger than either of you knows. Lily, you must listen." A shard of cold realization gripped Trevor. "You can't let them get to you, Lily. Please, don't let this manipulation twist your thoughts." Suddenly, the lights flickered, casting eerie shadows on the walls. The atmosphere thickened as if the very air was charged with fear. Trevor searched Lily's face, willing her to see what was happening, hoping to pierce the veil around her thoughts, and then, the music returned, distorted and haunting, filling the room with a sinister undercurrent. It was like a twisted lullaby, resonating with a strange familiarity, a reminder of something lost. Was this the truth they were all waiting for? "I didn't want to reveal this," the newcomer declared, voice rising above the chaos. "But it's time to show you all who he really is. This isn't just a game for him, it's a dark reality." Trevor clenched his fists, realization dawning like the first light of day breaking through a long night. "No. You don't have to do this. You can turn away." But the man stepped forward, his eyes now locked onto Lily, his expression an unsettling blend of desperate urgency and veiled threat. "Lily, remember the stories, the prophecies you've dismissed as nothing but fairy tales. They're about to converge on you. He's at the center of it all." Lily's face paled as realization swept through her. "What do you mean?" Before the man could respond, a deafening crash echoed from the back of the hall, shattering the tension like glass. Everyone turned in unison, but Trevor's eyes were glued to Lily, her face a mix of terror and revelation. "What's happening?" Trevor shouted, scanning the crowd, dread gnawing at him like a vicious beast. In that tumultuous moment, a figure emerged from the shadows, holding something glinting, a sharp blade of fate. And as Trevor inhaled sharply, heart hammering, he knew that the secrets hiding in the shadows were about to be thrust into the blinding spotlight. What further revelations would shatter their fragile world? Would they survive the oncoming storm, or would they be consumed by the truth lurking just beneath the surface? Trevor's heart lurched in panic as he focused on the figure emerging from the shadows. The glinting blade caught the light, a twisted beacon of dread that sliced through the air between him and Lily, creating a palpable rift of fear. His instincts screamed for action. "Lily, get back!" he shouted, pushing her behind him, instinctively taking on the role of protector even as cold dread sipped at his spine. The crowd was in chaos now. Gasps of shock erupted, hushed whispers crackled like static over the strained atmosphere. Trevor's eyes darted from the intruder to Lily, who remained frozen, her eyes wide, fear twisted with an unsettling curiosity. "Everyone out!" the newcomer commanded, his voice slicing through the clamorous throng. "Now!" People scattered like leaves caught in a whirlwind, desperate to escape the suffocating tension that had threatened to ensnare them. Trevor kept his gaze locked on the figure, who stood firm, a predator aware of his power over the terrified crowd. "Who are you?" Trevor demanded, his voice shaking but resolute. What do you want with her? The man smiled, a cold, calculated grin that sent a shiver down Trevor's spine. You really have no idea, do you? Secrets like these don't just belong to one. They ripple through lives, changing everything. With that, he took a confident step closer, the blade poised dangerously at his side. Trevor, Lily's voice trembled as she surfaced from her paralysis, he's not stay behind me. Trevor shot back, clenching his fists. The air crackled with energy. It was a duel between fear and resolve, and Trevor was fueled by his determination to shield Lily from whatever darkness haunted this man. The figure leaned closer, his voice low and menacing. You think you're her hero? You don't know who you're dealing with. The truth will come out, whether you like it or not. You're only delaying the inevitable. Before Trevor could respond, the lights flickered once more, plunging the room into momentary darkness. Panic surged through him as he felt Lily's hand slip into his, squeezing tightly. It was the only thing grounding him in the chaos, in a moment where shadows danced at the edges of his vision. Lily, listen to me, he urged, desperation edging his voice. Whatever he's about to say, don't believe it. Stay close to me. Trevor, I have to know, she replied softly, pulling her hand slightly away, the determination in her voice firm, but her face was a tapestry of conflict. The newcomer's smirk widened, sensing her wavering resolve, like a shark circling prey. See, she's starting to understand, he taunted, the stories aren't just myths, and you, Trevor, you're just a small piece in a much larger game. Just then, a figure loomed behind the stranger. It was hard to discern through the chaos, but he could see the outline of a woman, calm and composed. Her presence felt like a serene storm amidst the frantic energy, drawing people's attention back to her. Enough. She commanded, her voice slicing through the tension like a hot knife through butter. You don't own this moment. The newcomer turned slowly, surprise briefly flickering across his face. Trevor seized the moment, adrenaline coursing through him. Who are you? He boomed, his heart racing as he stood protectively in front of Lily. I'm someone who knows a lot more than you think, she replied, locking eyes with him. There was a strength in her gaze that pulled him in. And I'm here to set things right. There was no telling what set things right meant, but Trevor could feel the tension in the air shift. As shadows danced and the music twisted, they were all caught in a web of secrets ready to unravel. What truth was this woman hiding? And could she really help them break free from the grip of the dark consequences that loomed over them like storm clouds on the horizon? Trevor's heart raced as the woman's eyes held his, piercing through the haze of confusion. He could feel the weight of the moment pressing down on him, the air thick with expectation. Every muscle in his body tensed, ready to spring into action if needed. The crowd had thinned, but the remaining faces swarmed with fear, their expressions flickering from alarm to intrigue. They were as gripped by her presence as he was. The man with the blade, now distracted, seemed to measure the tension in the room, gauging his next move. Set things right? Trevor echoed, his voice trembling not just with confrontation, but with the dawning recognition that they stood on the edge of something monumental. What do you mean? The woman stepped forward, her confidence illuminating her features. There are forces at play here that you don't understand. But you will. The stranger scoffed, his eyes narrowing. Oh, please. You think she's going to trust you? All you've done is sow confusion. Enough games, the woman interrupted, raising her hand. You're not going to play with her life anymore. Trevor felt a wave of hope surge, but dread still gnawed at him. What if the woman was merely another player in this twisted game? He glanced at Lily, whose gaze flickered between the two. Confusion and fear tangled with a growing curiosity, she was caught between safety and a truth she desperately needed to unravel. Lily, Trevor said, keeping his voice steady, I don't want you to listen to any of this. Let us just get out of here. But Lily shook her head, her resolve building. I can't, Trevor. Something isn't right. I need to understand. The blade-wielding man laughed mockingly, a sound that sent chills down Trevor's spine. She's finally coming to see the bigger picture. You've been holding her back. No. Trevor snapped, stepping closer to Lily, a barrier against the darkness. You don't get to manipulate her. Whatever sick game you're playing, it ends now. At that moment, the lights flickered again, plunging the room into shadow. Panic flared anew, panic that twisted through Trevor like icy fingers. He could feel confusion rising. Were they even truly safe? Shrill screams erupted from the back of the crowd as they pressed toward the exit, desperate to escape whatever turmoil was brewing that eye and the chaos. Trevor caught a fleeting glimpse of the woman's expression, unfazed, resolute, with a glimmer of determination that suggested she wouldn't give up easily. He hoped she had the answers, that she could help them cut through the layers of fear and possibly, the truth that lay beneath. Trevor! Lily shouted as the lights returned, illuminating her face, which was now marred by a mix of determination and vulnerability. We have to trust her. Please. The stranger moved closer, the blade catching light once more, menacing and precise. This is all about the legacy, not just hers, but yours, too. He turned to the woman, his voice turned icy. You're meddling in things far beyond your comprehension. With a quick motion he lunged, and Trevor reacted instinctively, stepping forward to intercept, but then the woman raised her hand again, powerful and commanding. Stop! She bellowed, and the very air seemed to thicken at her command. In that charged moment, silence hung like a tangible weight. Trevor's heart pounded in his chest, uncertainty coursing through every nerve. The crowd held its breath, suspended in time. What revelation was about to kick off this tense standoff? The implications of their next choices exploded in Trevor's mind. Then, without warning, chaos erupted once more, but this time it wasn't just among the crowd. Deep within the heart of the confrontation sparked a secret so potent it changed the direction of everything they once believed. What truth was concealed inside the fraying edges of loyalty, and how would it tear through them all? The man with the knife smiled, a sinister glint in his eye. You think you know everything? Just wait until the pieces fall. The air thrummed with the impending sense of disaster. What pieces were left to fall, and how would they change everything Trevor thought he knew? The tension crackled like static in the air, and for a moment, Trevor felt suspended in a world that was unraveling around him. His pulse raced as he eyed the man with the blade, his demeanor shifting from threatening to exultant. What twisted games were they playing? Just you wait, the stranger taunted, the blade glinting ominously in the harsh light. You think you're strong enough to hold on to the truth? Truth has a hook, Trevor. It pulls and drags, and you'll find there's nothing you can do to stop it. Trevor's instincts screamed at him to run, to pull Lily away from this spiraling descent into madness. But rooted in place, he felt like a statue, helpless before the storm raging around him. Lily's gaze remained fixed on the woman, an intensity emanating from her as if she were chasing the very answers that slipped through Trevor's fingers. What is the legacy? She demanded, her voice steady despite the anxiety tightening Trevor's gut. What do you mean we're part of this? The woman, unyielding, began to step forward but stopped as the lights flickered again, plunging them into momentary darkness before bursting back with a feral intensity. The crowd gasped, and Trevor could hear frantic whispers. Their fear transformed the air into a suffocating shroud. Focus! The woman boomed, her voice cutting through the rising panic. This is simply the beginning. There's so much more at stake here. More. Trevor replied, his voice edging towards desperation. What could be worse than this? The sinister glint in the man's eyes deepened as he spun the knife playfully in his fingers. Control, my dear Trevor. You've been living in a bubble, and now it's time to pop it. The words slashed through the fog of confusion. A sound like 1,000 marbles dropping echoed in the depths of Trevor's mind. He took a half-step back, glancing towards Lily, searching for a sign of hope in the shifting darkness that cloaked them. Would she still trust the woman? Lily's determination only steeled further. You know something, she addressed the woman directly. You're not just some bystander in this. Why? Because I am part of it, the woman admitted, her voice tinged with an electrifying fervor. They've been searching for you, Lily. Your family holds a power built over generations, a power beyond mere wealth. It's time to embrace it. The man scoffed, turning his focus on Trevor like a predator spotting easy prey. Embrace? She has no idea, she was born into a legacy she doesn't even want. What a waste. Trevor's heart raced as he realized that the stranger's echo of Lily's name felt eerily intimate. He could feel the sting of betrayal creeping into the corners of his thoughts. What did this man know that he didn't? Tell me you're not serious, Trevor cried out, desperation spilling into his tone. You can't expect Lily to accept this madness. Lily glanced back at him, eyes shining with an unyielding resolve. No, Trevor. I've always wanted to understand. I want to know who I am. Who we are. The knife glinted in the chaotic lights as the man let out a chilling laugh. Then let us see how deep this rabbit hole goes, he said, advancing on them with determined strides. Trevor stood his ground, adrenaline surging through his veins. I won't let you touch her. The air around them shifted, charged with an energy that would snap at any moment. The crowd's murmurs erupted into a cacophony of fear and uncertainty, and Trevor felt the walls close in, his breath coming faster as he prepared for the inevitable showdown. Brace yourselves, the woman shouted, her voice cutting through the commotion. The truth is about to reveal itself. Then, before Trevor could process her words, the lights flickered once more, dimming dangerously low, as if the very fabric of reality was being torn apart. In that dense, dark silence, a single thought echoed in his mind, what secrets were about to shatter their lives forever. The lights dropped to a low murmur, revealing the stranger's blade glinting like a cruel beacon in the darkened room. Trevor felt the air shift, thick with a sense of impending chaos and truth. His heart hammered against his ribcage, the rhythm loud and frenzied like war drums beating overhead. The crowd's collective breath hung in suspense, their faces a mixture of fear and fascination, echoing the turmoil within him. Lily, he whispered urgently, turning to face her. You don't have to do this. You don't have to know any of this. But her gaze was unwavering, determination flickering in her blue eyes like the last embers of a dying fire. This is my story too, Trevor. I can't walk away from it. Not now. The woman stepped forward, her presence commanding, as if she held the key to unlock all the shadows that eclipsed Lily's life. The legacy isn't a curse, but it comes with burdens, and you must choose how to carry them. Her voice radiated strength, yet Trevor felt the weight of those words settle like stone in his stomach. The tall man, his blade still poised, laughed darkly. Legacy? Burdens? This is just a game to you, isn't it? Enough. The woman shouted, and the room fell silent. This isn't about you. It's about Lily and what she's destined to become. Trevor's mind spun as he tried to connect the pieces, the shocking revelation unraveling before him. What are you talking about? What does that even mean? The man stepped forward, leaning dangerously close, a mockery of confidence thickening the air. She was supposed to be an answer. But all you've done is delay her potential. Trevor's hands clenched into fists at his side, fighting the panic raging within him. What do you want with her? He growled, stepping protectively in front of Lily. I want to let you exploit her. Don't you see? The stranger's voice softened, unervingly persuasive. She's part of a bigger picture, one that can change everything. All I'm offering is manipulation. Trevor interrupted, his voice rising again. You're just another villain trying to twist her thoughts. Lily's eyes darted between them, the tension spiraling as she wrestled with the clashing forces around her. This is what my dad wanted, isn't it? She asked quietly, searching for answers in the depth of the chaos. The woman nodded solemnly, glancing at Trevor. "You're caught in a storm, but if she embraces her truth, she might navigate through it. Together, you can." "Lily, I want to protect you from what?" she countered, frustration creeping into her words. "From the truth." Before he could answer, the atmosphere shifted once more, the air crackling with energy as the lights dimmed momentarily before exploding back to full brightness. In that surreal moment, Trevor realized he could feel all eyes fixed on Lily, including his own. "Embrace it, walk your own path," the woman urged gently, reaching out her hand. "There's power in what you hold. It's time to reveal your legacy." Lily hesitated but took a small step forward, glancing at Trevor, who could only stare helplessly, his heart suffocated by the uncertainty. "You have to trust me, trust yourself." The darkness in the man's eyes flared with a mixture of anticipation and anger. "You'll regret your decision," he warned, voice like ice. But before Trevor could respond, Lily felt a swell of conviction rise within her, the tether binding her to Trevor pulling taut. "No, I'm not afraid of the past or what it holds. I want to know who I am. The legacy doesn't just belong to you. It belongs to us all," the woman declared, a fierce light in her own eyes shining through the storm brewing in the room. In that moment it was as if time metamorphosed, the onlookers solidifying into a living tableau, the shimmering lights casting long shadows across their faces, a living backdrop to the unfolding drama. The tall man, realizing he was losing control, lunged forward, his blade gleaming ominously. "You won, take her away." He spat, rage distorting his features. Trevor sprang into action, adrenaline propelling him into a protective stance, ready to defend Lily against this growing darkness. "Get away from her." But just as the chaos threatened to crescendo, the woman's voice rang above the pandemonium, powerful and commanding, shaking the very foundations of their fear. "You have the power to stop this cycle, Lily. Embrace who you are, channel it." With an involuntary spark of understanding igniting within her, Lily grasped the woman's outstretched hand, filled not just with potential but the promise of her own freedom and identity. A brilliant light erupted around them, cascading into a stunning wave that turned darkness into brilliant hues of orange and gold, a kaleidoscope, reshaping what had seemed doomed. The blade fell from the man's grip, clattering against the ground, the shock on his face palpable as the crowd gasped in awe. Together, Lily shouted, reaching for Trevor who, with widened eyes, realized this was not just about saving her but forging their path together. He grasped her hand, feeling that warmth, that fire, his heart now racing with hope as they faced the unknown together. "We share this legacy." As the bright light enveloped them, slowly washing away the darkness, layers of fear, uncertainty, and manipulation distorted by a radiant glow, Trevor held tightly onto their bond. A new dawn awaited, and they emerged with renewed purpose, ready to face whatever truths came next, knowing their strength wasn't just about the past, it was about the choices they'd make now and in the light of what lay ahead. And as the blinding brilliance faded, Trevor heard the whispers of a future unwritten, the chaos of possibilities shimmering like 1,000 bubbles bursting into breathtaking shades of unexplored destiny. Now, as the story wraps, remember that this isn't the end of our journey together. You need to subscribe immediately to the channel so you don't miss our next exclusive stories. Smash the like button now to feed the algorithm and flood the comments with your reactions and theories about the ending. Don't wait even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to hear this conclusion. Your support means everything. Let us keep this incredible community alive.